According to the old saying, money can't buy happiness. But can it buy better schools? If your country spends more on its schools, will the kids learn that much more? The answer will likely surprise you. In the last 10 years, the OECD raised this question 3 times. First in 2012, based on its PISA test results. In 2012, the OECD wondered if there was a correlation between resources and education outcomes. Specifically, can money buy performance in math? Had the answer been a straight yes, then the data points would have looked like this. As it turns out, they rather look like this. So yes, money can buy performance in math, but only up to a point. Beyond this minimum wage, so to speak, there's no point in spending more. So for countries that spent less than this threshold, yes, money can buy performance in math. But beyond this threshold, this is no longer true. 3 years later, the OECD wondered if money can buy performance in science. Again, the answer is yes, but only up to a point. Finally, in 2018, the OECD wondered if money can buy performance in reading outcomes. The answer stayed the same, as did the threshold. This threshold is the total expenditure per student throughout 10 years. That is to say, from age 6, which is a typical starting age of primary school, up until the age of 15, which happens to be the age at which one writes the PISA test. This amount is the equivalent of $50,000 US. We started this video about money not being able to buy happiness. According to a team of economists, that's not completely true. When their seminal paper came out in 2010, the lead author had won the Nobel Prize 8 years earlier. His co-author would do the same 5 years later. So 2 years before the OECD, Kahneman and Deaton discovered basically the same curve. Beyond a certain threshold, it is true that money can't buy happiness. For instance, a billionaire will not report being 1,000 times happier than a millionaire. And a millionaire will not report being happier than a professional earning 10 times less. But under a certain threshold, while poverty does correlate with emotional well-being. So what's the takeaway from the vantage point of public school governance? Essentially, 2 things. First, if your country's expenditures have not yet reached the minimum threshold, then it might be a tad premature for you to import trendy issues such as efficient schools, empowerment of stakeholders, and accountability. Second, once those expenditures have reached that threshold, then you can confidently oppose efforts to throw yet more money in order to achieve better outcomes.